Welcome back to Late Night. We're here with Ethan Hawke. You have scooched over a little.
I'm sorry, I encroached. It's a little bit like having a chaperone at a date. You know, like
Yes.
in high school, you know, you had to...
And we are, you know, obviously we're working out. You did get a COVID test, which we appreciate. In order for you to come into the studio, you had to do that. And we did have our, you know, we're very lucky to have people who are keeping an eye on things for us. And they did come out during the commercial break and said, like, I think maybe
appreciate
one more.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Safety first. So, you know, I feel like we all, you know, there's maybe at least one paragraph in American history books about John Brown, Harper's Fair, excuse me. We could tick those boxes. James McBride made this really interesting choice in his book. There's a lot of levity. There's a lot of humor that comes through in the series as well. What did you, though, think, oh, this is so cool that I get to not just tell the story of James Brown, John
James Brown, that would be a good movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why wasn't James Brown in this? I don't know much about history. But you get to tell the John Brown, not the history books version, but the James McBride version, which seems like it must have been a lot more fun.
That's the reason to do it. Nobody really wants to be taught. I mean, as much as we all like our local librarian, you know, that's not what you tune in for movies.
Right.
You want to be entertained. And what McBride did is pull off a magic trick, which is to talk about some of this nation's greatest pains, some of its greatest hurts, and to do it with so much wit and love that it disarms you. You know, you're used to feeling like if you have to look at this, you know, dark part of U.S. history, that it's just gonna hurt. And it does hurt, but he does it with so much love that it hurts in a way that is healing, I found. I mean, when I was first reading the book, I was sitting there in my bed and I'm just laughing, you know, I keep cackling. And my wife's like, what are you reading? And I said, The Good Lord Bird. She's like, isn't that about John Brown? I'm like, I know. Because it's kind of as if, I don't know, Chris Rock, Red Fox, or Richard Pryor told you the story of John Brown. You know, it's not, you know, it has an incendiary quality to it. And I think that, as you know, humor is a great teacher. Humor doesn't lie. You know, when your body just laughs, your brain doesn't laugh. So you don't have a political tack on it. You just have an emotional human hit on the story. So that's absolutely why I wanted to do it.
And then, obviously, you put together an incredible cast, which this has, up and down the board. And one cast member, obviously close to you, we've talked about it before, your daughter Maya, was in it as well. I mean, it must be so fun to get to work with her, not just because she's your daughter, but because of her immense talent.
Well, it's a little mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You know, people are often all over the internet and news and TV shows and stuff, you know, trying to stay young, trying to talk about how awful it is getting old. And then you find yourself on a set telling a story that you really want to tell, that you have a passion to tell, and your 22-year-old daughter wants to tell it with you. And she's got ideas, and she has a grace that she gave the show that I didn't know that we needed so badly. You know, the funny thing about it was that I really wanted Maya to play this part, and I was kind of scared to bring it up with her and kind of scared to bring it up with Showtime because I was worried they would think I was just a crazy nepotistic dad, you know? And so I was like, how am I going to bring this up? And then Stranger Things came out. And then somebody from Showtime called me, hey, you know, we're looking at the part of your daughter. I mean, would your actual daughter be interested? Oh, what a fascinating idea. I'm like, you know, and so it all just kind of fell into place, and they were glad to have her, and I was glad to have her, and she was happy to be there.
You seem to have a closeness with all your kids, and that must help when you're actually on set, because it doesn't seem like, I don't know, that you're an intimidating father figure that...
I try to be intimidating.
Yeah, it just doesn't take. I mean, I've seen all your kids with you. They do not seem even the littlest.
Not a little intimidating?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, with all my kids, this is true, but Maya's the oldest, and so I know it more deeply. I've been working with Maya since she was a little girl. She has an album out right now called Blush, if anybody wants to get it. She's a really gifted young woman, and she always has been. So we used to work on watercolors, and she would say, oh, I don't really like that. Do you think that's too much red? Or do you think that does it look more like a dog or a bird? Let's switch it out. But she's always been gifted, and we've always had an easy dialogue about art. I think one of the things that was most difficult about her being on set was asking myself, am I the actor I told her I was? You know,
oh, right.
You know, I mean, here I've been for years, I've been telling her to respect acting. I'm giving her Uta Hagen's book. I'm talking to her about what is an actor? What does it mean? Because the world tells you one thing that it is, but for the people who really do it, who are committed to storytelling and committed to being inside the metaphor of a play, it's a little bit more mysterious. And I had to be the person that I was, every time I go to the craft service table, I'd be like, a real actor doesn't eat this many gummy bears. Anyway, it was great.
It turned out great. Thank you so much for making the trip. I look forward to seeing you outside of here soon. Always a pleasure, Ethan.
Yeah, thanks. I'm sorry I had to sit so far. Maybe in our second date, I get to go to here. If things go really well, I get a third here.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. We're getting the thumbs up from the staff over there. The finale of The Good Lord Bird airs this Sunday at 10 p.m. on Showtime.